let's talk about the student. Share some ways, Darren, that you feel involvement in fine arts, it impacts students both spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, all those areas of growth. What do you see there?
Sure, I'll take those three that you mentioned. The spiritual benefits is I think the person is developing a stronger connection to God by mirroring one of his attributes. All we have to do is look around us at the beauty of creation. We look into the sky and see the stars, and we see God's creative handiwork at play. And I think as the students explore that, they get to know God in a deeper manner because we're emulating one of his attributes. I think it's also ways to internalize biblical truths and narratives. I remember back in high school, I played the Apostle Paul, and I I was like, well, I need to find out more about him if I'm going to play him up on stage. So I read more of Scripture, but that process was so good for me because I delved into a character who was extremely important. I got a better sense of his depravity before he had his wonderful experience with God, and then what happened after that meeting of God. And so I just think it allows us to kind of internalize those things. I also see that within Christian circles, when we get together as a group and produce a choir concert or produce an exhibition or a play, we are gathering together and it's a sense of community. So I think there's a much stronger sense of community and accountability, all of that, which aids our spiritual growth. I find as a director, I really get to know the students in my productions, even more so than in class, because I'm actually spending more time with them in rehearsals than I would have in class. And so I'm able to monitor the students during rehearsal. And sometimes I've kept one afterwards and have just said, so and so, you seem down tonight. Is there something bothering you? And the two of us would sit and talk for half an hour after the rehearsal, and I would find out what the person was struggling with that day. My dear wife, she loved coming to rehearsals with me, and she would just sit at the back. But what happened was the students started gravitating to her. Oh, hi, Mama Lawson, how you doing? Oh, I had a bad day
I can
today, and
imagine
I would
that.
she would be ministering to these students back in the back of the theater, and so all because we were just so interested in their spiritual growth.
Yeah.
I've always said that I want the final product um, and the process to both be God honoring. So I
Yeah.
think that process of leading up to that final product is an opportunity for me to disciple and to love and to uh, get these kids through a very rough day or maybe a very rough part of their spiritual journey. Second, with their emotional growth, I mean, I think the especially theater can be a healthy display of emotions that we wouldn't normally. And so I can get angry, I can get mad, I can get, I can become jealous and all of those things. And it's like, wow, I don't ever want to be like that. I played King Leontes in a play, and he becomes overly jealous of his wife, and to the point that he just loses complete control. And I remember thinking as I was playing that role, wow, Darren, don't ever let jealousy take
That's right.
so much control over you.
Yeah, true.
And then I think it develops empathy for other people as you're
Hmm.
working with choirs and you're singing together and you're collaborating. You really are getting an idea of how others are feeling. And then finally, I think this is one of the biggest ones is improved self confidence. And that is, as I'm up on stage, I go, wow, there's 200 people here. I've got to make sure that this is going to be great. And then you go and you've got a larger audience, and so suddenly over time you develop a really healthy self confidence through performance in front of others. Now, the last one, the intellectual growth, I think that's the easiest one from my perspective. We broaden their intellectual horizons by saying, let's talk about this song from a different culture, and we're going to sing this Russian song, or we're going to sing this Italian song. We learn about different cultures. I think it also develops our cognitive. We have to memorize, we have to analyze, we have to do all of those things. And then ultimately, I think that leads to better critical thinking. It's just a great way to come alongside what we're doing in the classroom and help improve some of those skills.
Enjoyed this short clip? That was just a sneak peek into a full episode on the Teacher Edition podcast. We are passionate about supporting Christian educators like you. Looking for more inspiration and practical strategies you could use today? Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by BJU Press.